Hey, thank y'all for helping me. You can come in. Be right with you. Let me get the camera straight. Hello, and thank y'all for coming to help me out tonight. I would like to address some concerns about day and night care for people with disabilities in the area. And I would also like to show how God's Christian followers can participate in good works. The problem concerning lack of respite and daycare services can be a big challenge. When people are stressed and confused about the expectations of their disabled family members, it brings about a lot of stress and it can create a poor quality of life. According to the Bible, God values life and living in peace with your neighbors. Luke chapter 14, verses 12, 13, and 14, he said also to the man that he had invited him, when you have a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends, don't invite your brothers, your relatives, or your rich neighbors, for unless they invited you and in return you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, because you'll be blessed and they cannot repay you, for you shall be repaid at the resurrection of just. Having patience and compassion helps make every situation more tolerable. When we have a little patience and show little understanding for an already unpleasant situation, it just creates more stress and misunderstandings. Being a single parent of a 22-year-old male with a loud, strong voice who is also totally disabled, I understand the frustrations of taking him out into the community and they're already unaccepting. I can relate to the stresses of trying to do things all by yourself. I can even relate to some of the concerns you have about all the what-ifs. By this, I mean, what happens to my son if something happens to me? Or what happens if I can no longer care for him because of aging or getting older? And what can I do if I just simply want to sleep late one morning? Or go out to a movie? The biggest what-if of all is what happens to him if I die before him. For the next few minutes, I would like to talk to you about respite care and group homes that may can offer some help. I would also like to explain how convenient it can be to have a local program like this here in our community. There are programs available for people with mental health and intellectual disabilities right here throughout our community. But the lack of respite care providers are common here in the area, so many families turn to local agencies to find support to help with the needs of these families. Many adults with disabilities and people with disabilities in their families get burned out pretty quickly because after years of solely caring for their loved ones, they need help and they turn to these programs for help. Many families have a single parent caring for them and providing for them. Some are unaware of some of these programs that are here locally. Some even provide transportation for their disabled family member. With the understanding of how hard things can be for disabled families, I would like to tell you a little bit more. And I have a flyer that states, according to the Rappahannock Area Community Services Board, their annual report for 2012, there were 2,192 people served with intellectual disabilities. The day support services they provide citizens with a chance to do lots of different things. They have a schedule, and it gives you a scheduled break from having a regular care provider. Specialized transportation can also help for the day support programs, and it makes all accessible to individuals residing throughout our region. There are 60 vehicles that travel about 600,000 miles within a year's time. And this brings me to my final point. The answer to most of our problems rely within a good program for services. These services can help families find a way to enhance the quality of life for not only the caregivers, but for everyone involved. Using respite care before you get exhausted, before you become isolated or overwhelmed is the idea. It's an ideal thing, but we really need these services here in the counties. But just anticipating the relief on a regular basis, oh man, could be a lifesaver. In conclusion, I would like to say that this country is growing daily with people with all types of disabilities. Families are struggling to care for these individuals on a regular basis. And I'm real saddened to say that due to the funding cuts, there are not many funds available for our growing needs. Respite care is one of the few things geared toward assisting our families. Respite care encourages families to keep their loved ones at home that may otherwise need to seek group homes and other foster families to care for. Institutions are almost gone. President Barack Obama wants to increase funding for the government program intended to make it easier for everybody who needs home respite care. But these hard-pressed families desperately need helping hands, but the White House has ideas all of its own. And they have ideas of all the wrong that's going on with this long-term care policy. Respite care can give families a break from severe care, as well as allow your family to contribute and grow. They can continue and grow and flourish. And it's nice that you have a break to get out. Just imagine, your person wants to get out of the house and away from you just as much as you would like to get away from them. I personally feel everyone should be familiar with all the local agencies and programs available to them in our counties. Thank you for listening.
Bravo. Kevin.